Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you on the Sunday after another disappointing New York 1 o'clock afternoon. Unexpected from the Giants' standpoint. They chased Washington all day, never could catch up. You knew the Jets, with a quarterback making his first career start, a quarterback who obviously you don't know what to expect from, and you can't expect very much. You knew this would be a one-sided game, just like you knew today that the Eagles would romp over the Raiders, who are right now the worst team in the league, as I've told you. So no surprises there. I actually thought that Cook played well at points in the first half. In the second half, he made some terrible, as you would expect, bad decisions, interceptions. Not that it mattered, but maybe it did if you were someone who had a teaser or something. But when they were down there after the Jacksonville fumble and they had first and goal to 3, I don't know why they threw the ball on first down. I mean, give the kid some support. Run the ball into the end zone, get your 7 points there, and then come back to play again. The second time where he throws the pick late, not a surprise. But again, he throws 3 picks, one before the half and then 2 in the second half. Showed a couple of, maybe he's a backup quarterback. He's sure not a starting quarterback. But hey, let him play for a couple weeks. No reason not to. This was a game that was going to be tough to win. Some very telling 1 o'clock games that I'll get to once I get to the Giants. Let me say this about the Giants. Their defense today was awful. Terrible against the run. Gave up big plays. I thought Dart's, it's early, easy. I mean, early they did not let Dart run. Then they let him get into the running game a little bit, and the team started to perk up offensively. They got themselves back in the game. Couldn't make the play to get over the top, and of course missed a couple field goals, and again gave up a big play that ended the game. Washington clearly is fighting. Mariota is a pretty solid backup quarterback. He's a journeyman, but he'll try hard. The only thing you have there is the hope in next season and getting a good draft pick. I know a lot's been made of, the Giants don't need, if they have the first pick, they're going to trade it to the best, package, and that's going to be the Jets. I think the Giants would be very leery about trading a quarterback to the Jets who, if he ever turned out to be great, will be something their fan base had to live with for 15 years. So I think they would look to another package if they could help it. But let's let that unfold as it unfolds. When you see Dart throwing the ball to Theo Johnson, you see the future. When you see Dart making a good play like he did on 4th and 1, settling in, allowing the rush to come to him, and then flipping it over the top. That's the kind of awareness and presence that you see, and you say, that's where he shows you that he's a quarterback. We know he can run the ball. Okay. He flirted with the 10th again today, but that was because he took a knee, but it really was not a big deal. He made some plays. He made some bad plays. He made some good plays. He clearly has a very bright future. That future can't start early enough for the Giants. Just play out this string. I know Dart's going to tell you that he's going to keep trying each week. Well, you know what? He better talk to some of his defenders because not a lot going on there. Really, not a lot going on there. So now, what are you talking about? You're just talking about keeping Dart healthy. He doesn't need any more experience this year. I would not play him. I'll play him, but I'm not going to overly extend him. And you go through the motions. If you win one, great. If you don't, you don't. That's just the way it is. For the Jets, they're trying to win games. I don't know what they will do if one of the other I think Fields, there's something going on there. I think Fields was unhappy. I think Fields may have played himself into the doghouse. He didn't wanna go in for certain trick plays or something, I don't there's something going on there. Taylor, who knows if he's ever healthy. If they have to play Cook, so what? Let him play him. It's a couple of games and finish the season, and go on from there. Now, the big stories in the 1 o'clock were clearly Buffalo's enormous comeback from 21 down, from 24-7 down. The Pats hadn't blown a 17-point lead or better at home in 120 home games, dating back to 1978. 1978. I mean, this was a incredible comeback for the Bills. Made a couple of plays on defense, but really it was their offense and their quarterback driving and doing the things that had to be done and coming back from 21-0 down, 24-7 down at the half. I mean, a remarkable performance. It really was. I mean, that's just a great performance. And then you saw the end of the Kansas City dynasty, and I know for a lot of you, that was a joyous moment because, I know I have friends who are sick of the Chiefs. I know a lot of people are sick of the Chiefs, and they've had an incredible run, and it ended in the most unceremonious of manners with Minshew throwing an interception and really them looking like they knew it was over as soon as Mahomes they're driving down 3. They're in field goal range with Mahomes, who's playing on a bad leg. He ran early in the game, and you could clearly hurt. He didn't run again because he clearly hurt his leg in the first half. He's playing on a gimpy leg. He hurts his leg. He can't get up. Now Minshew comes in, and it's almost like we don't even want to play overtime. And as Mahomes is being carried down the tunnel, they get a delay a game that moves them, for all intents and purposes, out of field goal range on a cold day. And then Minshew turns around and throws an interception. So it was almost like we surrender. Our leader is being carried up the up the runway. We know this is over. We surrender. And they surrendered in unceremonious fashion at home. They're not going to the playoffs. I doubt Mahomes will play again this year. I'm sure there's other guys who will play very sparingly in the next couple of weeks. And this great dynasty, and that's what it has been, will have to decide how it's going to deploy its future. The smart thing to do if you were Kansas City would be to break it down around Mahomes for a year. Now, I understand Mahomes isn't going to be happy with that. And I'm not sure Andy would be real happy with that. But if you try to patch it around Mahomes and Andy, the end is there for Kelsey. The end is coming for Chris Jones and other top players that they've had. But the bottom line is Mahomes has years left. Andy will still be there coaching. The question is, do you try to patch it around them and try to sneak into the playoffs and do damage? Or do you try and take a year, clean things out the best you can, and try to build another franchise around Mahomes? And see if you can have one more golden run for Andy and Mahomes down the road in 2 years or 3 years. It'll be interesting to see how Kansas City does it. They'll most likely do the patch and pray because that's what you do when you have guys like Andy and Mahomes who don't want to give up years. But, a lot of guys don't ever get back to the game. A lot of guys, it takes them a long time to get to the game. Look at Lamar. Look at Josh Allen. Great players. It takes you a while to get to the game. And then sometimes when you've had great success, you think, oh, it's going to go on forever. Well, it doesn't automatically go on forever. It really doesn't. Getting back to the game is very, very hard. Ravens won today. They can run. They can win out and run the table. I think they will win their next two, and then they will play in Pittsburgh with a chance to run the table. That'll be very interesting. That'll probably be I would think that'll probably be the primetime game on Sunday night, the last week of the season, because that will probably, for all intents and purposes, be a playoff game. I think that will be the case. Yeah, some interesting 4 o'clock games just getting underway. Packers and Broncos, Lions and Rams. Colts with Rivers at quarterback. Rivers becomes the 5th quarterback his age to ever play in the NFL as a starter. Brady, I mean, guys like George Blanda did as a reliever, but Brady, Moon, DeBerg, Testaverde all started at the age of 45. Rivers is 44 years old. So he's the 5th guy of this age to actually start a game. Very interesting to see what he does. We know he can throw it. The question is, can he move? Can he handle the speed? Can he handle the pass rush? Can he handle what he'll see from a very aggressive Seattle defense in a tough building? Very interesting to see. Very interesting. Let's be honest. At this juncture, the Jets and the Giants don't offer very much. They really don't. We know everything we need to know about Dart right now. We know all the guys who are sitting out for the Giants. We know that they're going to have a new leadership. For the Jets, they have to get a quarterback. That's what it comes down to. Now they have the picks to go get one or to trade for one. And who knows? Do they trade for a veteran one? Do they go get one in the draft? We'll see how it plays out. I mean, there's a lot of stories and a lot of twists and turns to that before the season ends. But that's all that's left for those teams now as they finish up incredibly disappointing seasons. And now the mighty Chiefs, who have been not only a fixture, have been a dynasty over the last decade. They are not going to be part of the playoffs this year. That is now official. Sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter. You get exclusive content, contests, offers. Go to MikeFrancesa'Podcast.com and sign up. Remember, absolutely free. Now, Bet Rivers players who place the same game parlay of at least $10 on any NFL or NCAA football game will receive an entry into the weekly Squares game. Winning Squares can earn up to $50 bonus bet per entry. So check it out. See the Bet Rivers app or website for more details. So it is a very, as we watch the Lions and Rams get ready to do battle, it's a very wide open season in both conferences. Wide open. Could be the Rams, could be the Packers. Who knows? Maybe the Eagles get rejuvenated after their shutout win today. You know, as I told you, the Eagles had 11 lock wins. They were not going anywhere. How about the Bears who won again today? And for those of you, keeping the Sanders scoreboard, did he have a rough day in the cold today in Chicago? He wound up 18-35. That was a lot better than it looked early. 5 sacks, 3 interceptions. I think one at least for a touchdown. Might have been 2 pick sixes. I'm not sure, but a very, very tall order and a 31-3 loss to the Bears today, who are now automatically headed to the playoffs. The question is, in that very, very tight division, who's going to wind up winning it? Very interesting these couple of days. And the next couple of weeks, how many games there are that are going to decide things. And Josh Allen's still there throwing his weight around. And the Ravens and Jackson said, hey, we're not done yet either. And Aaron Rodgers has said, hey, don't count us out yet. So there's some older quarterbacks. There's some quarterbacks in there very, very, very real prime, looking to get there, to have the year, even though it might not be the year they expected, where they're going to be the 1 seed and dominated home, and not the road they're going to travel. Let's see what happens with that Denver game today, as an example. A lot of storylines. And one very, very poignant one today, as what you saw was Mahomes and the Kansas City dynasty being carried out down the runway, over, limping, not able to walk off the field by himself, clearly injured, clearly beaten. Finally. It took a decade. See you later.